Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades Stocks on Sunday. And today we're going to ask the question, are we to be concerned? Are we to be worried? The week following quad witching has historically been bearish, but will history repeat? We're going to talk about that, a whole bunch more. We're going to look at some trades. Before we do that, smash the like button. This does help get the channel out to more people, and of course does help support the channel. And if you're a new subscriber, welcome to the channel. Hit that subscribe button, smash that bell notification, and you'll get the daily updates. So let's have a quick look here. First of all, I want to go to the SPY here. Next week has been brutal for the SPY historically. 20 years of data, only a very lowly 37% win rate, and an average return of minus 0.86. That's a good question because historically, Friday's quad witching day was meant to be bearish, particularly the last hour of the trading day between 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it just wasn't. And now people are starting to questioning whether we should be looking so heavily and relying so heavily on this historical data when there is such euphoria in the markets. We've got rate cuts coming up, or is there going to be a bubble that's about to burst, and will we see a little bit of a pullback next week into something a little bit more bearish? And of course, we have earnings coming up, and generally the trading happens weeks before in anticipation of the earnings. So the window is getting shorter for a pullback here. And so maybe we just don't see a pullback at all, but historically there's meant to be some kind of a pullback. Now, if we go to the chart, we have bar chart here showing that there's a 48% chance of a recession occurring in the next 12 months. And every time the odds of hitting a recession got to 48%, it did actually result in a recession. Again, historical data. And I want to know what your thoughts on how much weight we should be putting towards historical data. Then we have Google searches for help with mortgage has now surpassed the peak of the 2008 global crisis. Now, this is not 20 years of historical data. This is today's relevant data. And so I think there is cause for some concern. I think we should be wary of any possible pullback or drop or dump or recession coming. And so this is why the number one rule for trading is to trade the trend, because the trend is your friend until the end, and then we start a new trend. Okay, so let's have a look at a couple of trades that I've been sharing here and update those trades. And let's talk about where we could see next week heading and what kind of situation we could find ourselves in. So first and foremost, I want to look at the SIV trade. And this was a trade I gave in the swings channel, the new swings channel of the Tribal Trades Discord. And the swings channel actually for the month of September has been 100% win rate so far. We've had an incredible bunch of trades there. You can see the 5 trades that we took. There's the date, there's the entry, and this is where we're up. Now, this trade is actually up at the moment. We just haven't hit that target of $17 yet, but this is up from $15.23. You can check your charts there. And so these all up, and OKLO obviously was the big winner trade that I gave on the 12th of September, $35 all the way up over $90. Absolutely incredible trade. We'll check that one out in just a moment. So we've had home run after home run. This is following our long-term investing trades here, also 100% win rate as well, that I gave these at the beginning of April after the big February dump, and everybody was in fear. And then I gave all these levels pretty much right at or near the bottom there. Everybody was calling for a 1929 Great Depression style dump. I stepped in and gave these wonderful levels that if you'd taken them would be up incredibly high after that. And some of these trades are still running, and I do have to update a lot of these levels because they have continued. A lot of these have continued to run. So if we do look at the serve trade that we have here, and this is one of the trades that I gave, and I originally gave this at around $10, and it has shot all the way up to 15. And you can see this inverse head and shoulders pattern. There's the head, left shoulder, right shoulder. You also have this WW bottom pattern and the breakthrough. And I gave this the level there around $10, and this has gone all the way up. Now, I do have very bullish about SERV. The technical target actually for this play is all the way up around $19. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to go to $19 right away. It doesn't even mean that it's going to get there at all. This is just technical target for, look them up on Google, how to find the technical target for certain plays. And so that's all that we've done here. And so you can see that there. I'm going to switch to the daily time frame there just to zoom out a little bit on that. Now, of course, the obvious level to look to maybe possibly jump back in, there's some Fibonacci levels actually on the way up there, would be any retest of $13.11. Okay, any retest of $13.11 and hold there could be an entry, and we'd be quite bullish. $12.21 in the Discord, we played off here a number of times, getting in and out before it just took off there. There is a little bit of a bearish wick there, as you can see. Now, quite often these wicks get eaten up, just like this wick here. You saw they had the wick, it came down, retested the 9 EMA on the daily, and then shot up. We could see something similar where we come back for a retest and then shoot up. Now, if next week or starting tomorrow it does turn out to be quite bearish, there could be those opportunities for a little bit of a pullback. But of course, everybody thought the market was going to be quite bearish on Friday with people having to roll over or close their options plays, and it just didn't work out that way. So again, we trade the trend until the end. And while the trend is up, we stay in the trend. And one of the things that I did love about SERV and that I did call out about SERV was the beautiful tribal trades indicator, giving us beautiful entry before we even broke this neckline of the inverse head and shoulders pattern there, okay? And we also have a W double bottom pattern there as well. You see the left side of the W and then the right side of the W. So this makes up a W pattern here, and this is incredibly bullish to the upside there. And we broke this beautiful trend line here that we had been holding there as support and resistance. These are the plays that I give in the Tribal Trades Discord. And each time we've had this green dot on the weekly time frame, we've seen incredible moves to the upside. There we go, green dot. And of course, where do we get out? The red dot on the weekly has been a good place for a bearish reversal. So of course, we trade the trend. We trade the trend until the trend begins to shift and the momentum begins to shift. And we haven't seen that at the moment. Again, you can see even the green dot on the daily gave us quite an incredible entry all the way down there at $9. And look, I look here and say that there was a green dot and it went up into resistance and it failed and it came back down again. You would have still made money. Green dot again hit resistance, and then this time green dot initially it failed, and then we got the green arrow and it took off. And sometimes you just have to be patient with these plays and just keep getting in them. You know, you get in on the green dot, didn't get out again, profit. Get in on the green dot, didn't get out and profit. Well, it didn't break through the resistance, but still there was a little bit of money to be made each time. So these would still be winning trades, but not like this winning trade to the upside where it's gone from $8 all the way up to $15. They're almost doubled in price. And so I've often found with A's and MAs and Fibonacci's and trend lines, sometimes it takes a few times of beating down that resistance there, and sellers get exhausted because then there's not the volume there of sellers anymore because they've been selling every time it comes up. People are selling, it's selling, and then there's just not the sellers there and it just breaks through. Same little issue here. People are taking profit selling, and then off we go again. And obviously that's what we have at this situation. So sometimes it just takes a few goes to get through, and it's just about being patient. It doesn't mean that this indicator hasn't worked, because clearly it has. It just took some time to play out. And what do they say about trading? They say it's not about timing in the market, it's about time in the market. And this is so true, just about having those patience to allow those plays to roll out. And you can see here in the Tribal Trades Discord, the SERV trade absolutely crushed their multiple times. The OKLO trade that I gave here, any hold above the $35 fib level, there's that W double bottom pattern again playing out. And that entry that I gave at $35, have to go to where's served, there's OKLO, and there's that OKLO play there. And actually, we're going to have to really zoom out there on this one, because this was some kind of a parabolic move to the upside there. And you can see this. First of all, we had the inverse head and shoulders, very similar chart to what we just looked at SERV, and I'm hoping SERV does actually something quite similar here. And you can see this level, the fib level that I gave here at 35 right there, and there was the break again. What did we see? We saw the green dot on the daily. It comes up. Sure, you would have made a little bit of money from 24, or a lot of money, to 34, and it rejected, didn't get through, and then came back down, got the green arrow, rejected initially, and then once it bust through, it was off to the races. We had some pauses here around this level. Look how this just comes down and retests a couple of times there at that Fibonacci level there at 43 before it takes off again there. And that OKLO trade went all the way up. Where did that actually end up going? Let's have a quick look. We'll have to go to the after hours chart there, and got all the way up to about $95. So that was almost a 3x just in a few days. But you had to be patient. On the 12th of September, had to be patient to allow this one to run out, and it took around about a week or so to make these big moves to the upside with OKLO there. And that was that trade given in the swings trade of the Tribal Trades Discord. The win section, my favorite part of the Tribal Trades Discord. This is incredible. Value wicks, incredible trading here. We've been talking about the $1,000 per day challenge, and they hit their $1,000 for the day. That's the goal, $1,000 a day for the month. It gives you $30,000 for the month, and so many people jumping into this challenge in the Tribal Trades Discord, embracing the Tribal Trade system, learning how to trade, how to take the trades, the setups that I give, finding their own setups as well, and meeting that daily goal there in Tribal Trades Discord. So absolutely incredible. In fact, there was an astonishingly incredible trade yesterday. We'll be talking about that on Monday, and we just saw record wins. Absolutely incredible play that was given in the crypto plays section of the Discord. I'm going to share about that on Monday and what that token was. And that was a lot of activity yesterday. The big winners that we've seen for the month of September there. Now, if you do wish to join the Tribal Trades Discord, you can do so. There is a wait list, however, and I'll share with how you can get on board with that. There's a link below in the description of this video. It's right up the top. You might need to click the more button below this video, and you can get on the wait list for the Tribal Trades Discord. Now, we are a closed by design Discord, exclusive trading community, family I like to call, and the Discord only opens a few times during the year. And we were open in January and February, open again in June, and then we closed it again, and then open again sometime before the end of this year, probably a little bit later this year. We'll open the Discord again. But for the month of September, I have been moving at least one person per day from the wait list into the main area of the Discord. So getting on the wait list now can help gain you early access before we open up the Discord there. And of course, if there's anybody who's not able to renew their subscription for any reason, then we're able to move people from waitlist into the main area of the Tribal Trades Discord, because I am all about quality over quantity and being able to help and look after people in the Discord, answer questions, and be available. And I can't do that if the Discord gets too big too quickly. That's why we have a wait list, because every person in there, I'm looking to help educate and entertain on the wealth transformational journey, because this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? Okay. Well, thank you again for tuning in. And as always, that's all we have time for today. But until I see you in the next episode tomorrow, and we'll talk about that crypto token that went parabolic and a lot of money was made on that trade. Talk about that coin tomorrow. But until then, of course, I see you in the Discord. Happy trading.